Hey folks, Jonathan here. Figured it's time to start back on the Nash head, try to get something together on it. There is the box they came in. New old stock. Very old stock. There's the wax paper, I think, or, you know, some kind of weird paper. But anyway, the seller actually screwed up. Ordered 6 valves, and he had 2 sets. He had one set that only had 5 in it, and he had one set that had 6 in it. So I ordered, and we ended up with 10 valves. And I'm assuming, and my understanding, that he thought there was only 6 in this box. So I got a hold of him. I'm going to send him 4 valves back. You know, the next person that needs a set of valves for a Nash ambassador will be able to get some. So anyway, we've got 10 new ones. We're going to pick 6 out of here. We're going to send him 4 back. I'm going to throw this in the trash, I guess. Little box. It looks like the squirrels already got to it, which is just perfect for this job. So we go ahead and clean up the valves and get to work. So these come out of the exhaust ports, and I don't really know what it is unless it's old carbon buildup or something, but I don't think it's that. I don't know. Lichen or something growing in it. So, anyway, we'll see if I've got a pilot for this and a seat cutter. It's at 45 degrees. So I should have a seat cutter and a pilot to be able to go ahead and recut these seats. And I used to have a grinder to do it, and I sold it like a fool years back. But that's the way it goes. I still got a lot of nuts in there to get out. It's got to be the nuttiest car I've ever seen in my life. That's all in the water jackets. So, you know, we got to pull the freeze plugs out of the block and really run some water through it, and it's going to be fun getting it cleaned out. Of course, we're replacing the radiator, so that's not a big issue. But anyway, keep at it. Okay, here's a couple seat cutters. These are both 45 degree. Now this is the old school style. This is not like the new stuff, and this is what you would use on an early engine. You got a guide that this one I actually made, and luckily it's the same diameter, and I didn't even check the diameter of the valves, but as you can see, it's the right diameter for this engine. So what you do, these actually come off. It's just all it is a taper, and fits on about like a Morse taper. But this screws in and tightens down, and basically you just stick it in, and we're barely going to be able to clear the head. Really lucky on this. I'm sorry about the light there, but we're just barely going to be able to clear the head through. And probably clear it a little better if we clean it up, but we can go in and we can recut these seats. Now this is not going to work on a hardened seat engine, but because these seats are not hardened, we shouldn't have any issues there. and we can recut. The exhaust seats are pretty rough. They are actually rusted, and even though, where my light's coming from, I'm messing this up here. But our exhaust valve seats, even though them valves were closed, is rusted, and they're not really pitted bad. They just look terrible. Not no terrible pits or anything like that in it, but that's the whole reason when you start an engine that's been sitting for a long time that you don't have any compression. You know, one of the reasons is because you got gunk and everything that has formed on the actual seat, and it's not rust, because of course rust is a color, but this corrosion that forms on it, and it actually just starts basically growing under there, and you end up with problems with the seats. So we're going to have to recut these seats. We'll go ahead and recut the intakes just a little bit, just to clean them up, and then of course we got no exhaust valve, and we'll grind the intake valves, and then we'll lap everything in, and I think it's going to turn out fine. We've got to keep fighting these nuts out of the water jackets, and that's our biggest deal. And then I've still got to come up with a valve spring. I'm not going to replace all the valve springs. I mean, we're not going to run this thing forever. You know, it's not like it's going to be a daily driver, nothing like that. You know, going to work, and it's just going to be driven every once in a while, and I don't think there'll be any other issues. You know, springs break, it happens, especially on old stuff, and we'll just replace the one, and we can test it, and we can actually, I've got a valve spring tester. I can test the pressure on it to see, you know, go down to, you know, an inch or whatever, and go down and see what the actual spring pressure is at that height, and we'll try to match something up close. It don't have to be perfect. You know, it's not that big of an issue. It's just got to have enough spring pressure to hold the valve closed, and when it's not a race engine, we're not going to turn at 6,000-7,000 RPM, so we don't have to worry about it holding it on the seat so hard that, you know, we don't want it to float or nothing like that. So it's not going to be spinning up that fast, so no issues there. You know, slow turning engine, it's not going to affect that much. But we will get a valve spring together, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to play with one of these seats before I go to doing some serious cleaning on this thing, just to make sure, you know, it's going to clean up okay and the seat cutter is going to work all right. All right. Okay, when I do this, I like to use a tap wrench on it, and just because I can hold it good and straight, because just like a tap, you know, trying to start it, you don't want to get this off too far. So I'm going to turn it just a little bit, put some pressure on it. And just see what it's doing. Okay, so this will take some time, but I'll just show you what we've got going on here. You can see it's cutting that rust off. It's actually pretty shiny and nice there. I don't see much for fitting in it. So this will work out just fine. We'll go through and do all of them. Well, you can see a comparison of that one compared to that one. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and clean our 6 intake valves up. Go ahead and turn them and get to cleaning on this, and then we'll try to get all the nuts out of it. I need to clean the exhaust ports up, and that's where a lot of the nuts were. The problem wasn't anything on the intake side, so they didn't come down the carburetor, the intake at all. Everything was on the exhaust side, so they actually climbed up the exhaust pipe because it was, you know, broke off or cut off. So probably field mice. We've got a lot of them, you know, around, and that's just the way it is. You know, you got to live with it. But we're still going to blame it on the squirrels. So, all right, let me get to work. Okay, hopefully you can see this thing. It sits back here on the bench all the time and gets dusty and don't get used. As you can see, it's just dusty as can be, especially with all the pollen that comes in. But I've got this set up. This is what we use to face the stone. Now this has actually got a diamond tip on it, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring the wheel up and we're going to recut the wheel just ever so slightly, and we're going to do that dry. Alright, that's all it takes. You don't want to take much off because you don't want to waste your stone. The valves are not terrible. They are just, a little bit, a little bit of surface rust here and there and crud. And again, that's what hurts your compression after the engine sits for so long. So we're going to go ahead and grind this one, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, we got her pretty much cleaned up. Got enough nuts out of this thing to feed a small town, or a small town of squirrels at least. All the seats are cut, valves are in, and well, these two valves I've stuck in there. You can hear them valves. They make a really good sound when they close. They're seating really good. Right where we need them. They're not beat down in. This thing hasn't been run on unleaded fuel. I'm sure of that. The seats are still up good and tall. Valves are actually protruding down. And let me see. We've still got to grind, lap them in. Intake valves, of course, I've got all them done. So I did notice that a stud's broke short. So we're going to have to heat this and get this out. So that's one thing I'm definitely going to have to do. I worked on this thing a long time just getting the nuts out. That was probably the worst part. And there may be a few wedged in there somewhere, but we're going to do some flushing with some water when we get it on, and make sure we get it everything that we can get. And they clean the intake or the exhaust ports out really well, and so they're good. And let me see. You can pull the valve out a little bit and grab it and see if you can rock it at all. And these guides are just perfect. I mean, I couldn't ask for any better. Can't move them a bit from top or bottom. Really good shape. I think they're going to be just fine. And I didn't see any cracks. Looked it over good. When you watch for cracks, watch between the two cylinders, of course, on the valve seats. Watch for water jacket to bolt, water jacket to cylinder. Usually that's what where it's going to happen at, from a water jacket over, or between the two. So anyway, I think what we're going to do now is go ahead and I'll wipe it back down, and then we'll get some valve grinding compound and do the valves. I want to clean the intake valve, the head of it, up a little better. It's concaved in there so far. I couldn't get my wire brush in there, but I gotta get it good and clean so the suction cup will stick on it, and we'll get at that now. Okay, so we're getting ready to grind the seats in these. As you can see, I've got the old school, well, this is the mechanized valve lapping tool. So this you turn and it just twists it back and forth. I'll show you in just a minute. But if you want to confuse the guys at Advance, the young guys or gals, go in and ask for some valve grinding compound. It usually confuses them. So what we want to do is just put some of this on the valve seat, or you can put it here. Just don't get any on your stem. Now, back in the 50s, probably every mechanic in the country knew how to do this. That's why valve grinding machines, that's why you can find them so plentiful, and you can find cheap ones. Sometimes I've seen them as cheap as $100. I think I gave $100 for the Black & Decker I have now. I had a Sioux and sold it years ago. But every garage, service station had a valve grinder, was able to pull ahead and do one. In the 50s and the 40s, you could pull the head, pull the oil pan, pull the pistons out. You could actually have a company come in with a boring bar, and Quickway or a Sioux or Van Norman boring bar, and set up right on top of your block, bore your engine, and leave, and then you was ready to rebuild right on site. That's why old cars, the oil pans always came off. You know, nowadays dealer mechanics and mechanics are a whole lot different than they were then. Then you know, this was normal stuff for them. This wasn't anything special. And you know, at a small garage or dealership, you probably couldn't find too many mechanics that could even do this now. But as you can see, it's just going back and forth. And every once in a while I lift the valve, turn it, put it back on. You can hear it cutting, or I can hear it cutting. It's actually cutting really well. Do that just a few times, and then we'll take it out and check it. And if you got a good one of these and you got your valve good and clean, you know, as you can see, it stays on without any issues. So you wipe it down, you take a look around your valve, and you can see this is seating toward the outside, but you know, that's just where the placement is, so there's nothing we can do about that. But it is seating all the way around. It's looking good. You know, it's actually dolled up. And then I'll check the seat in here. Before you put this back together permanent, you need to take something and brake cleaner and spray in there and really clean that valve grinding compound out. You don't want to leave any of it at all. Anywhere that it gets, it's just going to keep grinding whatever it's against. Yeah, we look good there. No issues. I can still hear a little bit. So anyway, we'll do all the valves that way, and we'll be ready to clean it up, and then we'll start putting it back together. I've still got to check all my stock here and see if I've got a one valve spring. But anyway, like I said, this is simple stuff. You can still get these cheap, and you can still get the old style that you put between your hand and turn. These are still pretty old. I don't even know what brand this is. A Zim, made out of Chicago, so at least it is American made. And you know, you don't see too many tools sold nowadays that has wood on them. So this is just probably a new old stock that somebody had, and I ended up with. And like I said, this is not hard stuff. You know, if you get a chance to get an old valve grinder, they're nice to have and keep around. I'm not running coolant right now because, like I said, I don't want to keep it mixed, so I just sprayed the valve down good. You just don't want it to get hot. If you just skim off and take just a little bit off, you're not gonna get the valve hot. You're not gonna cause too much trouble. So okay, we got all the valves in, and happy with how that's turning out. So I've got to come up with another spring, but I've also got to come up with some valve stem seals. I thought I had some, but I have sure looked hard and can't find them. So I'm probably just going to use umbrella seals. It's got 3/8 valve stems, so that's, you know, you can use O-rings, but I like the umbrella style. But we'll see what happens.